My name is John and I'm an alcoholic. This is a closed meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. If you have a problem with alcohol, you are welcome to attend the meeting. If you do not have a problem with alcohol, you are kindly asked to leave the meeting. Following are the guidelines suggested. Please turn off microphones when you are not speaking. We ask that while sharing, you will talk about your experience, your strength, your personal hopes, and avoid all dialogue in the chat as well. Please maintain the AA brotherhood, avoid abusive discourse, expressing opinions and giving advice, including in the chat. We keep a respectful dialogue. We avoid any controversy and criticism and create a safe atmosphere for all present out of experience and hope. If you have consumed alcohol during the last 24 hours, you are welcome to attend the meetings, but you may share at the end of the meetings. Sharing time in the conference is limited to allow everyone to participate up to 3 minutes per participant. Members who have already shared will be able to share again after all members in the meeting have been given a chance to share. Please join me now in a moment of silence to remember the still suffering alcoholic both inside and outside of these rooms. This meeting subject is a speaker share. Today we'll be hearing from Israel C. I myself had the great privilege of hearing Israel C. in one of the Tikva group international speaker meetings about 3 or 4 months ago. And I personally was blown away by his message. So when I was asked to chair this meeting and I learned that Israel C. would be leading, I was much delighted to be able to hear him again. So without further ado, I'm going to hand the meeting over to our speaker, Israel C., and who will be sharing his experience, strength, and hope with all of us. So thank you for letting me be of service, and welcome Israel C. to the meeting.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. For how long, John?
Rotem, is it 30 minutes share? How long is the share?
It's more or less. It's more or less 30 minutes because we need translation. We finished the meeting at 15:15.
15:15. Okay, great.
Good luck.
Thank you. Tada. My name is Israel C., and I am an alcoholic. I'm a member of the Mediterranean group here in Jerusalem, Israel, and I've been sober since February 14th, 1980. Thank you very much to everyone involved in service here today. And what a wonderful way to celebrate Purim and to celebrate Alcoholics Anonymous in Israel. I am honored and privileged to participate in this meeting. And I say it's an honor because everything in my life is a result of my being a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's a privilege. I'm hearkening back to the doctor's opinion in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, where Dr. Silkworth says, and I'll quote, and I'm have to be on the right page. He's talking about Bill Wilson, and he says, later, he requested the privilege of being allowed to tell his story to the other patients. Here, and with some misgiving, we consented. In other words, they did not think it was a good idea, but they said, what the hell? How much damage can they do to each other? And they allowed Bill to speak to the other patients. And it is directly connected between that conversation that Bill had with those patients and our being here together today. And that for me is the miracle of Alcoholics Anonymous. I picked up my first drink when I was 9 years old. I had my first drink at 9. I like to say I waited. And what I mean by that is that I could have taken a drink any day of my entire life, and it would have provided the relief that it did when I was 9. Because alcohol was a solution. Alcohol was an answer to a question. I need to remember that now, because stopping drinking isn't taking care of just the problem. It's also taking care of the solution. When I stopped drinking, I have stopped administering the solution to the causes and conditions of my alcoholism. So if I come to AA and I stop drinking, I need another solution. My sponsor of blessed memory, Clancy Imisland, used to say, Barbie is great. Sarah Rivka, I'm going off Barbie because she takes longer to talk than you. But I can't hear either one of you. Clancy used to say, we alcoholics aren't people with drinking problems. People with drinking problems stop drinking and stop having problems. We are people with living problems. We stop drinking and we start having problems. And that is what Alcoholics Anonymous offers us. A spiritual solution, just the same way that alcohol was spiritual solution. Dr. Carl Jung said this to Bill Wilson in 1960. He said it of Roland Hazard, who was the man who brought the solution to Ebby, who was the man who brought the solution to Bill. He said of Roland's use of alcohol was a low-grade spiritual solution for his alcoholism. So to back up, I drank from 9 years old to 16 years old. As the big book says in chapter 3, the great obsession of every abnormal drinker is that they will one day control and enjoy their drinking. That is the simple test I hold to determine my alcoholism. Can I control and enjoy my drinking? And for me, the answer is no. If I'm controlling it, I'm not enjoying it. And if I'm enjoying it, I'm not controlling it. One other thing I want to say about alcohol, we used to buy a case of beer every Friday afternoon. And from the time that beer was in the trunk, I felt better. Once I had access to alcohol, I felt better. I don't even need to drink alcohol. I just have to have access to it. The final night of my drinking, I had a hit-and-run accident with a Catholic priest. Now I sit before you, an Orthodox Jew living in Jerusalem. But I came to AA, an Irish, Italian, Catholic kid from Philadelphia. I'm not saying that if you work the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous in your life, you're going to become an Orthodox Jew. I'm just saying it has happened before. I came to Alcoholics Anonymous, as I said, in early February of 1980. I met a man on my first day of AA who was to become my sponsor. And something crucial happened. I sat in that AA clubhouse all day long. A lot of people gave me their telephone numbers and said, call anytime. One man took my phone number. And the next day he called me. And he said, how'd you like to go to an AA meeting tonight? And I thought, I went to AA yesterday. But I went to AA that second day. And that's the day that I caught alcoholism. My friend of blessed memory, Scott Redman, used to say, alcoholism is contagious. We catch it through our ears. And that's what happened to me. I sat in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, not knowing that I was alcoholic. That's personally why I don't like the announcement that closed meetings are for alcoholics only. I did not know I was alcoholic. I sat there and I listened to all of you. And based on what you said about you, I realized I was alcoholic. And I learned not only that I was alcoholic, but that there was a solution for my alcoholism. That what you had was hope. What you had was knowledge. That there was a way to recover from alcoholism without drinking alcohol. That the causes and conditions of alcoholism could be treated through the 12 steps. The Hasidic rabbi Levi Yitzhak Miberdichev used to say, or said once to the local atheist, "The God that you don't believe in, I don't believe in either." And for me, that is the perfect thing to say to someone new in Alcoholics Anonymous. If you don't believe in God, or you believe that God is angry and hurtful and trying to kill you, I don't believe in that God either. The God that I'm talking about is the spiritual power that gathers or is present when we meet. Go to an AA room early and sit there alone, and see how it feels. And then see how it feels when we're in the midst of a meeting. In my experience, it feels completely different when we're all together. And that, at its most basic level, is the power I'm talking about. Me and any one of you are a power greater than me. And what the book says is I need to access a power greater than myself to effect recovery from alcoholism. And that's what I had then, and that's what I have now. The book talks about the idea of a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition, which says to me that I'm responsible for the maintenance, not the spiritual condition. In other words, if I want the kitchen to be clean, I have to do the maintenance. I have to wash the dishes and sweep the floor, put away the groceries and wipe the counters down. But what I want to do is sit on a chair and stare at the kitchen and wish for it to be in better condition. And call someone and say, "Don't I deserve to have a clean kitchen? After all I do, shouldn't my kitchen be clean?" But I don't want to do the maintenance. I want the result. And so I do the maintenance. I work the steps. I reach out to others and try and give this away as it was freely given to me. I attend meetings because that's where I find new alcoholics, newly sober alcoholics. Dr. Bob, in his story, talks about owing a debt to the man who gave this message to him. And I feel that way too. Because when I arrived here in Alcoholics Anonymous, it wasn't just filled with people that were a little more brand new than me, or a little less brand new than me. Meetings were filled and continued to be filled throughout my sobriety with people with full lives, rich, deep, full lives, full careers and families. And yet they recognized their need to still be here to give what was freely given to them. And when I do that, when I come to Alcoholics Anonymous to give, I get a tremendous amount. But when I come to get, I'm deeply disappointed. I get when I give, but I have to come to give in order to get. Bill Wilson wrote in The Grapevine in the 40s that sobriety was just the first gift of the first awakening. And that has been my experience. My life continues to unfold and continues to blossom in ways I could never have imagined. When I first got here, they said that I could have a life beyond my wildest dreams. I thought what they said was a life of my wildest dreams. If that had been true, I would have a lifetime supply of Marlboro cigarettes and a 41-year-old Camaro, because I would have wanted a brand new Camaro. Don't worry, an American sports car and cigarettes that I don't smoke anymore. But that's not what they offered me. They offered me beyond my wildest dreams. In other words, a life I could not even imagine. And that's what I've been given. A life that I could not have even imagined as I sat there as a 16-year-old boy in meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous. The beauty of Alcoholics Anonymous for me is that the 12 steps worked just as well for a 16-year-old Irish Italian Catholic kid from Philadelphia, whose name was Christopher, as they do for a middle-aged Orthodox Jew living in Jerusalem. As we see from AA's worldwide expansion, the steps work for anyone, anywhere, because they aren't trying to make us into anything except free. The book says we are undisciplined, and so we let God discipline us in the simple way we have just outlined. Bill Wilson in the 12 and 12 called us children of chaos. And what the 12 steps and their application to my life have consistently offered me is a path to freedom. I'm truly grateful that I was asked to speak here today and to participate in this convention because of the tremendous growth I've seen in Alcoholics Anonymous in the 20 years I've lived in Israel. I feel privileged to be part of this fellowship here, as well as the worldwide fellowship. And for me, that's what Zoom represents. Not just a connection to old friends, of which I've been reacquainted with so many, but with the introduction to new friends all over the world, ever reminding me that I am part of a worldwide fellowship. The book talks about the idea we are like the passengers of a life raft, I'm paraphrasing, the moment after being saved. But I think what Zoom has proven is that we are like the passengers of a great ocean liner, even the moment after it hits the iceberg. If AA were on the Titanic, we would be organizing meetings before the boat even sunk. The chairperson would be saying, please limit your sharing to 3 minutes because we're all about to drown. And someone would be saying, this boat can't sink, I haven't shared yet. But think about it, this pandemic really, certainly for Israel, it hit at Purim. And we were on Zoom in a week. Many other communities, my religious community, educational communities I'm a part of, have responded on Zoom, but none did it more quickly than we did. We adapted and we did it well, possibly because we have no choice, and possibly because enough of us have recovered enough to know we have to change. We don't always know what we have to change, but we know we have to change. And that for me is the beauty of Alcoholics Anonymous and the secret to our success. We each learn and we support each other in knowing that this is the only day there is. This is the day I have to ask for help to stay sober, to work with someone else who wants to stay sober, and to thank the power of the universe for my sobriety at the end of the day. So I thank you. I thank you for asking me to be here. I thank you for your attendance. And I'm so grateful that we're growing so strong and we're continuing to grow and to change and to get bigger and stronger and better. And thank you, Barbie. Thank you, Sarah Rivka. Thank you to all the service workers. Shabbat Shalom, Purim Sameach.
תודה ישראל, תודה רבה.
יישר כוח.
Thank you, Yisrael, so much for your powerful, powerful share.
Thanks, Jen.
Relevant as well. Everyone, at this time, we're going to open the meeting up for sharing for the last 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, and then we'll conclude the meeting. So if you would like to share, about Israel's message, about your own experience, you can raise your hand in the Zoom, or you can type 111 into the group chat, and I will call on you. So the meeting is now open for sharing. Whoever would like to share can raise their hand. And the first person that's going to share is going to be Franco. Over to you, Franco.
Sorry, John, just one thing, Franco. Make sure when you speak slowly so the translators can follow and translate into English and Hebrew, English, or Russian.
Can I?
Yes.
Hi, Francesca Alcoholistic. I want to say thank you to Israel from the bottom of my heart about explaining how we see his God. Was very meaningful to me and very powerful. Thank you for your wisdom and experience. That's it.
Thank you, Franco.